Was that?
Wow, this thing is loud.
I missed your text. I was out like the light because my wife stayed by her mother's house in the death. So the other was out. I apologize. No problem. I apologize. No, what you want to do? Yeah, no problem.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Paterson Municipal Council, I welcome you to the special meeting of the Municipal Council. The meeting is now called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for Municipal Council emergency meeting, June 8, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Khan. Here. Councilman Davila. Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Kalik. Councilman Mendez.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mims.
Want to miss it for the world. I'm here.
Councilman Velez.
Welcome, everyone. My vote is yes.
Mr. President.
Yes. Madam Clerk, will you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes, Mr. President.
What, are you getting a camera?
City of Paterson, notice of emergency meeting on June 8, 2021, as an exception to the requirements of Open Public Meetings Act. Be advised that the Municipal Council of the City of Paterson has scheduled an emergency meeting for Tuesday, June 8, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. to be held in the council chambers, 3rd floor, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey. The normal notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have not been met. It is necessary to call this meeting by vote of 3/4 of the council members present, pursuant to NJSA 10:4-9, because an emergency situation that has developed specifically, 1, resolution authorizing calendar year 2021 emergency temporary appropriation for the month of June 2021, formal action may be taken. Number 2, public portion. Pursuant to NJSA 10:4-9B, such meeting is required in order to deal with matters of such urgency and importance that a delay for the purpose of providing adequate notice would be likely to result in substantial harm to the public interest. This meeting was called on Tuesday, June 8, 2021, and in that day, notice of this meeting was given by posting the notice at City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, by filing it with the city clerk, and by sending the notice by fax to the Herald News and Record, the NJ Pulse, the Paterson Press, and other newspaper use of public notices as required by NJSA 10-4-9B3. This meeting will be limited to discussion of and/or action on the above described emergent matters. Mr. President, and the honorable council members, at this time, I would like to entertain a motion to hold, a motion and a second to hold this emergency meeting to
So
discuss
moved.
the temporary
Second.
budget.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk,
Yes, Mr.
Members.
President.
And Mims.
and Councilman Mims.
Roll call to hold the emergency meeting to discuss the temporary budget. Councilman Abdelaziz. Yes. Councilwoman Khan.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
I'm sorry, I was reading the agenda. What was the item?
The title, it said Resolution Authorizing Calendar Year 2021 Emergency Temporary Appropriations That's for the month of June 2021.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Velez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, none against. We not continue with the discussion of this emergency meeting regarding the temporary budget, Mr. President.
Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers for this public portion?
There is no speaker for this public
You still gotta
meeting.
open it.
Seeing none, move to close.
Just announce it just in case.
Move to close by Councilwoman Mims,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Cotton and Councilman Mendez. Roll call to close the public portion, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the public portion of the emergency meeting of June 8, 2021. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. The public portion is now closed.
We will now proceed with the special meeting, special emergency meeting agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the first item on the agenda.
Yes, Mr. President. Item on the agenda, resolution. Item number 1, resolution authorizing calendar year 2021 emergency temporary appropriations for the month of June 2021.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez and Councilwoman Cotton.
Discussion.
Discussion. Councilman Velez?
Council President, we understand that we received a call about early in the afternoon regarding this emergency meeting. Who called this emergency meeting for?
I did.
Oh, you did. All right. So, in other words, at least if you call for the emergency meeting, don't you think the mayor should be here at least and address us?
You said
You
what?
want my opinion, or you just want to make a statement?
No, my question is, you don't think that it should be a courtesy that knowing that we're in this position, that he should have at least a courtesy to the council to come and address us?
Well, to answer your question, my opinion is just like he had it when he was a councilman. He used to say that the mayor should always be here. I cannot speak for him. All I know is that we have an obligation. We have an obligation to the workers and the residents of Paterson, the taxpayers. That's all I know.
Yeah, the reason is, Council President, is that, almost my phone burned yesterday. And we had all these individuals that we respect a lot in the city, all these union members that we respect a lot in the city, calling us with wrong information, misinformation, and thanks God to all of us that we addressed them according to our knowledge what was going on. And, and having not the administration, having the mayor here and address them with the right facts and address us with the right facts is wrong. So I just want to put that on the floor. That's
Council
it.
President.
Council President,
So Councilman Mendez and Councilman Cotton.
thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, Paterson. We have this emergency meeting because, as we all know, if we don't approve this temporary appropriation, there's not going to be payment on Friday this week. And I'm definitely here. I left, my business to be here because I know that our employees, they need to get paid. They deserve to get paid. Now, the concern that I have with this is that everybody has a different reason why you vote against a temporary appropriation. My specific reason is this. And I'm going to say this before. I've been having conversation with a lot of employees that have been in the city of Paterson for 15, 20 years. 15 and 20 years. They don't make more than $30,000. And on this temporary appropriation, you have the administration submitting a new position, an assistant CFO position, a position that never been created before. We have the controller, who's also the assistant of the CFO. So you have a new position for $120,000 in the last
Councilman.
temporary appropriation.
Councilman.
Right.
When I see things like that,
Can I interrupt you for a minute? We're verifying that this is being transmitted through YouTube. We just want to make sure that
It's on?
He's here.
it is on? All right, it's on. Continue.
Thank
Sorry.
you. So this is very disturbing to me, in the condition that we are as a city, you have a administration, have a mayor that he's not willing to let this go, and he's pushing for a new position for $120,000. And the question is, do we really need that position? Do we really need to continue adding new positions? That's the question that I have. And a month ago, I expressed my concern with the budget that I was looking at, because this administration, they've been opening more new positions than any other administration in the past. And I see that as a problem. Those are taxpayer dollars that we're spending opening new positions at the high price, at the high salary, $100,000, $120,000, $80,000, $90,000. And at the same time, you have employees that have been with the city for 15 and 20 years, and they don't make more than $25,000 and $30,000. So the question that I asked to my constituents, how is the service that we're getting? Do we have a better service? The condition of the city? So we adding more position, and we providing less services to our taxpayer. I don't blame my council colleague to say no to an irresponsible temporary appropriation, and that's the reason why I'm here. I receive a lot of phone calls, and I express my point, and this is my position. The only power that we have in this governing body is to be responsible with our vote. I see that I'm looking at a different number here, and I'm expecting an explanation about the numbers that I see over here, but this is my point, Paterson. We have a mayor and an administration that they continue opening position, $100,000, $120,000 position. They don't even take care of the employees that we have for 15 and 20 years. We're getting less services, and they not paying attention to that. We are in a very difficult situation financially in this city. And let me just say that we're lucky that we received so many millions of dollars because of COVID. We're lucky. So with that being said, I hope that we could get into an agreement today.
Yeah.
That way we could pay our employees.
Right.
That's what I hope. But let me just be clear with Paterson and with all the city employees. What the mayor is doing, trying to push for a new position, it's not fair for none of you. We shouldn't be here. We should not be here. It's not fair. This is not the time. It's a new position that never been before, never been created. So what are we doing? I yield my time, Council President.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Council President. First, I want to say to Madam Clerk, I mean, it's really bad timing. You're doing an election today, and I just want to say I apologize to you to have to do a special meeting on an election day, and her office is busy with this election. Secondly, I want to say to you out there, I've been on the city council for going into my 9th year, and I'm going to find out how many times our budget was passed before our year ended. And I remember one time it was April and our budget ended in June, and we always had, and people keep saying budget, it's an emergency appropriation. First of all, I want to apologize to you employees out there, because you know what, our lives is so full of stuff that we have to sit here, no, you have to sit there and worry about whether or not you're going to get paid. If I had the money, I would pay you and let the labor board come in here and then grant y'all double your salary, because the labor board would look at us and say, what is wrong with you? I can understand there might be items in the agenda that we may not like, but we can strike them here and there. But to not pay employees, the law says if you work, you get paid. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. I may not like some of the stuff, and I've been here with 5 mayors. And there were items with some of the mayors that I did not agree with, but I won't hold my city employees hostages on some things that I do not agree with the mayor. We have to work that out, but I wouldn't, you worry, you know what, when I said the pandemic and the virus has caused so much pain for so many people. And you know what, some of us would get paid, and then some of us has not gotten paid. And I say to people, you go to other states in the United States of America, you would not get paid because those governors didn't care about their people. It's about caring. And I just want to apologize that you have to be worried about if you're going to get paid. There are items in here. It's not a budget. It's an emergency appropriation to keep the city running. until we can strike a budget. And hopefully that we'll be able to do that soon. But I'm gonna, for my own record, find out when we pass budgets, because this is our first year on calendar year. We always was fiscal year, meaning that it ends in June. Now we're gonna go all the way to December. But to you employees, there's some items, and I work with mayors that I disagree with who they had on staff, and I disagree. But I won't hold the city employees hostages because I disagree with what's being done. And, you know, that's why we can sit here and do that. And I just want to say to you, I understand. And you know what? With everything that we're going through, and I get the calls, people crying, I get the calls, they can't do this, I get the calls. You shouldn't have to worry about paying your mortgage, your car payment, your public service, whether or not you got automatic drawdown on the 15th or whatever day it comes out. You know, some people who, you know, some of council members sitting up here ain't living paycheck to paycheck. But a lot of them, they ain't living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of us still are living paycheck to paycheck. Please, you know, come on, like, you know, we can disagree. Yes, I disagree with my 5 mayors I done sat with. I done disagree with them. But I won't hold you people hostage because I disagree. Council
Council
President.
President.
So,
Council President.
so real quick, just want to clarify a few things. First of all, this is an emergency appropriation is a temporary budget, so it is a budget. That's one thing. 2, the only mechanism that the council have to prevent wasteful spending and at the same time assure that our residents get the services they need to get is through the budget. So we do have a responsibility as council members. Yes, we have a responsibility to the workers. I also have a responsibility to the residents and the taxpayers. Nobody wanted to put the workers in this situation, but just don't put the blame on one side. We're not here to looking for blame. I scheduled this meeting to try to bring a resolution, spend all night thinking about it, and the resolution we have before us is because we put something, we reduce a line item in the budget so we could continue the conversation with the mayor. So when I hear my colleagues, basically, you know, that's your personal opinion, we got to respect it. But this is the tool that we have, the budget. Now, this is a temporary budget. Yes, my colleague is correct. We normally don't, so to the public that are viewing, a temporary budget is basically a percentage of the previous year's budget. We're in month 6 already, so we should be in a perfect world at 50%, but because we have debt service payments and other payments, we might be over 50%, but that's the reason why. It's not that we have spent over 50% of the salary. Just want to make it clear. But just because we are approving a temporary budget, under normal circumstance, yes, a temporary budget, we normally just approve because it's just to get us to continue to run the city until we could adopt a budget. Several things happened this year, you know, but in reality, what has taken place is we got to introduce budget. Again, not putting blame on anybody. We got an introduced budget, a budget presented to the council in June. Normally that gets done around April. Maybe the administration couldn't present it in April, but they could have definitely presented it in May. So I and my colleagues, I'm not here to play politics. We wanted to make a concession with the mayor, and my personal ask was that they don't create a new position that never existed before. We have, we have an obligation to the residents, and I didn't think it was prudent at the time to create such position. So all I was asking was for a position not to be created. That was it. And you're gonna turn around and say, well, you was willing to close the city down because of one position. There's a bigger picture. It was a position that we were discussing in personnel for 2 months not to create. That position was gonna be paid, it was an assistant position that was gonna be paid, the salary was gonna be higher than most of the department heads in the city of Paterson. The administration had a justification for it, but we didn't agree on at the time, we didn't have an agreement. You know, they said that it was gonna save money, but we just didn't think that position, was necessary to create at this time. We're past that at this moment.
Council President.
This budget that we have before us, this budget we have before us right now, they cannot create that position right now because the budget, we made sure that that line item was reduced. And we're going to continue the conversation with the administration. But that is all about communication. We've been complaining that we haven't been, we don't communicate well. And when you don't communicate, that's what happens. Things things just don't proceed. But we're here tonight in the best interest of everyone, and we're looking to, at least I am, to approve this temporary budget for the residents and for the workers. And at the same time, I'm getting what I was looking for, which that's what I'm here for, to fight for the residents. When I feel that I got to stop fighting because I got to do what's best for me politically, I don't need to be here for the title. I don't need to be here for $40,000. When I start doing things because it's politically correct, when I have the need to go to the workers and say, look, I don't understand why my colleagues are not approving this. You guys got to get paid. No, I know why we did what we needed to do. It wasn't so they don't get paid. It was to try to get the administration to do what I feel, at least, is the right thing to do. They might feel the right thing to do is what they were doing. I'm not saying they're wrong. I just want to put that out there because there's going to be a lot of stories going on. And the bottom line is, I'm here for the people, not just a segment of the population.
Council President.
Councilman Mims.
So I saw some fire coming out of Councilwoman Cotton tonight. I appreciate that, and I do agree with everything that was said. When it comes to our employees, I've been very vocal about the hard work and how they're underpaid. To the point in the last 2 council meetings, I put it on record. And I said we have to ensure that when it comes to voting, that our vote does not put any of our employees in jeopardy of not getting paid. So I want to put it on record. On May the 25th, I voted yes because I knew that your paychecks would be in jeopardy. On June 1st, I voted yes to make sure that the employees would not be in jeopardy. I came tonight, I was all the way in South Jersey, but I wanted to be here tonight. My vote is not going to change. I've done a competitive pay scale analysis that shows out of the 1,440 employees in the city, that 457 employees in this city make less than $20 an hour. That means they are one paycheck or a half or a quarter of a paycheck away from losing their jobs, cars being repossessed, and the list goes on. And I've been talking about it for months, but I put it on the record in the last 2 meetings. So when it came to voting and making sure that I voted responsibly for the employees, for the services that are rendered, because it's not just payroll, the services that are rendered. This vote is operating expenses, the vaccination sites, and so forth and so on. And we have to make sure when we're voting that we do it in the best interest of everyone that's involved. For me, like Councilwoman Cotton said, it's not about politics for me. I didn't take this job to be a politician or to make $40,000. My salary goes to the community, and I didn't promise to give it to them. It just goes to the community because I love this city. I'm doing this because I love this city. I didn't do it because I owed someone something, someone gave me something to do it. I love this city, and I'm out with the employees every day. It would be hypocritical for me to fight for the employees and vote against them and getting paid. I want to apologize to Madam Clerk and her staff. They've been here since 4 o'clock this morning. It is election day. The election polls closed at 8 o'clock. It is now 6:10. They have to be in the council chambers for an emergency meeting that could have happened. Well, it could have been voted on the 27th, could have been voted on the 1st, and then there was a call made for Friday for us to come to do it Friday, but we were in jeopardy because payroll is done on Wednesdays, and half of DPW night workers get their pay on Thursday night, so if it wasn't approved by then, the workers would have missed their paycheck. And so I apologize to you, Madam Clerk, and to your staff for having to take a segue to come so that we can take a vote on something that we should have done in the first place. Employees should never be in a chokehold, never should be in a situation where I received 5 phone calls from employees crying because they were so upset that they were not going to get paid, crying because they have money coming out of their check to pay their bills, and they did not know because there was a memo that was sent out that said the majority of the council, so they didn't know who were the council members, and they were calling everybody. And so we had to meet them. We're driving on the street, they're pulling me over in tears, not knowing if they're going to get paid. I apologize to you, Madam Clerk, and your staff. I apologize to the employees, and I apologize to the city of Paterson that we have to be in this predicament. Does the administration need to work on doing some things a little better? Absolutely. We can do the same thing, but the employees should never be put in the middle of debacle. We have to make sure, to the administration, I keep saying it, you gotta do your due diligence and reaching across the line. Council President just talked about communication. You have to do what's right to reach out to your council members. You have to do your due diligence and making sure what you're providing is responsible. The budget does have some good stuff in it. It still has some things that definitely needs to be worked on, and I think that's more conversation that's needed. But to put the employees in a situation where they don't know if they're going to get paid, I see them every day. And it really hurts my heart. It's bringing me to tears even now to have employees call me crying, not knowing if they're going to get paid because of a decision that was made because of lack of communication or issues that could have been resolved before we got to this place. So my apologies to the city, to the workers of the city, to the clerk and her staff for what we're going through on tonight. It's a sad occurrence, but I voted yes twice, and tonight my vote will still be in favor of the employees first. Thank you, Council President.
It's amazing. It is just amazing. But I'm glad we're all here tonight. Hopefully we pass this. I'm debating, but you know what, Councilman Jackson, just go ahead, because I don't even want to go there.
So, thank you, Council President. And what's very discouraging is the fact that the administration, first of all, I have absolutely nothing to do with the ask. I'm just hearing about the ask now. I don't even know what some council members was referencing when it comes to a line item. I'm very aware of the fact that the position was being created and it was a specific person that's being targeted for the job, which is that much more disappointing. It's not being openly advertised as it is required. So for $120,000 salary to be created for a specific person who just so happens to be a non-resident, obviously, you know, I'm firmly against that. But what's very alarming is that the administration would go so far as to push the envelope to shut the city down and then put the onus on the council. Oh, the council doesn't want to approve this temporary appropriation, which requires a payment of $120,000, which could possibly pay almost 3 to 4 DPW workers for one person on their staff, which again happens to be a non-resident. Now, with that being said, Councilman Velez referenced the disrespect relative to the mayor not coming, which is very disrespectful, was the notice and the letter that the BA sent out to the entire faculty. That letter is stating that we have the funds to pay, but the council refuses not to approve. And yes, I'm definitely one who voted responsibly against what we're doing. If we're halfway through the year and you have almost close to 70% of the budget being expended, and now we're going to approve another 3 months, which is going to be a large portion. I know we reduced it to 1, but the initial ask was for 3 months. So that means there'll be no regulatory systems in place for the last portion of this budget. It's probably less than 10% left at the end. So if there was a necessity to do any cuts, there's nothing to cut because they was already spending the money on excessive overtime in the mayor's office, in the BA's office. We're not talking about those vital portions of the community that's in desperate need of overtime, such as police and DPW and fire. We're talking about members within the mayor's office that's getting excessive overtime. So when we talk about being responsible, to bring it to this point is very much so alarming. So while we're on topic, Councilwoman Mims is correct. There was a call on Friday to potentially put something together, and it was also a call yesterday. I reached out to several council members, and I spoke directly to the CFO. I had him make an adjustment early in the morning because he was excited that I was going to hopefully be able to convince council members to attend a meeting last night to get this done yesterday. And that item was, the request was, let's remove all other budgetary items outside of payroll. He sent me the payroll and made the adjustments as I requested. Then I called him back and said, Mr. CFO, can you please remove the following items? Those items were the city council's pay, the office of the business administrator's pay, and the mayor's office's pay. So that means instead of allowing the general employee base to go through these ills and suffer, let's take out those decision-making offices, those decision-making entities, the mayor's office, the BA's office, and including city council. Let's take their payroll out, approve the general payroll for all the rest of the employees, and the mayor then sends a message back, because I never asked the CFO to go ask the mayor's permission. It's the council's purview. The council has the ability to cut and move the budget accordingly. We don't have the ability to tell him, you can't hire this person, or you can't do this with the employee rates, but we do have the ability to cut. So by me removing those line items, it's totally within my purview. The mayor then sends a response back to the CFO who works for him that he's not going to do it. So I told the CFO, what do you mean you're not going to do it? It's something I'm requesting. So he said I would have to move it forward on the floor. So I also made several phone calls to council members, and various council members, surprisingly, was in disagreement as well. So with that being said, Council President, when we are ready to move on this item, I would like to make an amendment on the floor to move accordingly. The amendment would be, and I'll make the motion now if necessary, to remove all line items that pertain directly to the mayor's office, the council's office, and if need be, I can get those line items and tell you what the exact amounts are. The mayor's office, the council's office, and the BA's office. And I'll make that motion now. And Council President, if you can be so kind, maybe you can ask for a second and see where the council stands. I mean, if we want to sit here and make sure we're being diligent with the finances within the city, then let the council and the mayor go without pay while the rest of the employees can get paid, and we can sit here and negotiate and move forward what's in the community's best interest.
All right, do we have a second?
Move it for discussion.
No. He moved it. Do we have a second to make that motion?
Second for discussion.
All right, we have a first by Councilman Jackson and a second by Councilman Mendez. Discussion.
Council President, can we get clarification from the motion? I just heard remove items, and I don't have a figure, I don't have numbers, I don't have anything. I would ask the person that made this motion to clarify his amendment before we have discussion, so I know what I'm discussing. Thank you very much. We can't just throw things out there without having, this is not a monopoly game. This is a
Council
budget.
President.
Thank you.
Council President, if I may.
Council President.
Councilman Velez.
I know that Councilman Jackson will explain his motion, but also I would like to hear the legality of moving on the issue. Please.
This is good. He's legal. So, Councilman Jackson, you
Can
wanted the floor?
I finish, please, sir?
Sure.
Which I have, right, it happens to be here in the packet as well. So, item number 10-10, Office of the Mayor, salaries and wages for $25,000, other expenses for $1,600. I move to remove that item. Item number 10-30, Office of the City Council, for $60,000, salary and wages, other expenses $12,500. I move to remove that item. Office of the Clerk will remain. Office of Elections, all the other will remain.
So how much is the total, Councilman? Just out of curiosity?
120.
1 second, I need to find the Office of the Business Administrator.
125.
So you'll get the legality right now. I'm just interested to see what we're trying to accomplish here.
Office, item number 20-10, Office of the Business Administrator,
What's
for
the total?
salaries
You
and
have a
wages.
calculator?
I'm sorry?
Mr. CFO, you mind adding those items. I just want to see where we're getting at with this.
Can I wait, Council President? Meanwhile that happens.
Hold on, I just want to hear the number. Hold on.
Yeah.
That way we continue with this discussion.
So let's make a vote.
Roll call,
call.
Council President.
Hold on a minute.
151,600.
All right, so we're talking about, I don't know if we know what we're looking at right now. We're looking at a temporary budget. This doesn't even have much relationship with the budget introduction by the mayor the other day. Like I stated previously, once we pass this, we still have to approve. This is a temporary budget in order for the city to continue to be open, right? This is done every year. I understand that we're in June already. Now, I'm not saying it's right that we're this late, we're still doing this, but this is where we are right now. We're gonna have to approve and introduce budget soon. Once we do that, the council could still make the changes, the recommendations, and everything you wanna make. Then we have an opportunity to adopt a budget. Removing 150, and again, when we look at a budget, I look at it differently than some of my colleagues. A budget is a plan, right? The action that I took the other day wasn't just about just the position. It was gonna follow up with the introduced budget and the adopted budget. Every year we come here, we ask, do you have everything in the budget to provide the services that are needed out there, right? And we take their word, because that's the responsibility, to operate and administer the city. Going forward, we're gonna have some discussions this year. What have changed from this budget year, from prior year to this year, that's gonna improve the situation out there. But now, let's go back to the matter at hand.
So, Council,
We have a motion on the floor for an amendment. Could we just vote on this and then move to the regular business that we have?
Right.
Yes.
Please?
let's please do that.
Yes.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Council
Madam-
President?
Madam Clerk, to vote on the budget as amended. Do you want the floor, Councilman Mendes?
You get 2 minutes.
Council, I just want to make sure, you say that we need to check the legality of that. I would like to
Yes, let's
hear
check the legality.
Corporation Council, the input on
Correct.
this before we vote on.
What's the legality?
I asked that question, yeah.
Thank you, Council President, and I'm not sure if Councilman Jackson had any further clarifications on this issue before I opine. I want to make sure he's heard.
No, the only thing that I would like to add relative to Council President's comment, this council, collaboratively along with the mayor, is willing to shut the city down and not have 1,500 employees get paid over in a dispute over one position. My point is, why not allow those entities, the council's office, the BA's office, and the city council, and the mayor's office, to wait for payment while the rest of the employees get paid? And if there's an issue, and if we're talking about, well, it's only 150+ thousand, we're talking about $120,000 position. So I'm not understanding where's the stark differences. We played the game as we normally do. We played this out to only come here at the final hour to pontificate when we know what was going to happen. I mean, so I have no issue with the council's paychecks being held behind, nor should the mayor. I mean, you're talking about some of the highest paid people within the city. So I'm curious to see how this vote is gonna roll out.
Council President,
So,
can I just make a quick comment?
hold on a minute. We're
Just a quick comment.
we're gonna let Corporation Council clarify. But
Thank you,
it's just
Thank
interesting.
you, Council President.
The council's gonna get paid regardless. But then, this is about services also. You know, you can't play politics. One minute you say, oh, it's about the overtime for this. Oh, but you know what? Everybody else could work overtime. It's not even about working the overtime. We wanna see services improve. So if it takes for some of the employees to work overtime to see the services improve, then I could go for that. But the problem is, I'm representing the people, and what you hear from me is what the people are telling me. It's not something personal. So now, that being said, Corporation Council, could you clarify if you could be biased in a way to hold back a handful of paychecks because it looks great on the newspaper and some people would applaud?
Wow.
What's the legality of this action?
Well, I don't interpret Councilman Jackson's actions in that way, but I will comment generally on the legality of what he's trying to do. And based off our research, it is not legal, it is not within the council's purview to effectuate what Councilman Jackson's specifically speaking about, and he and I had a conversation about that.
What is the law, Corporation Counsel? Please quote off the law, the statute number, or whatever law you're deriving this from.
Absolutely. So, as an initial matter, under the Faulkner Act, certain oversight is not within the purview of the council, and that includes the mayor's office.
It's not oversight of the mayor's office.
Well, defunding the mayor's salary can be construed with interfering with or asserting some sort of control
This is not
over the
defunding the
mayor's
mayor's
office.
salary, it's cutting a line item.
Okay.
It's not a clear
It's not just one reason.
interpretation of the law.
If I may, Councilman Jackson, I'm
Sure.
happy to clarify. Additionally, your hyper-focus on particular sections of the budget is too granular. Obviously, the council's purview is the budget generally, but when you start getting to the granular level, you cross over from council's authority into the authority delineated both under our city code and the Faulkner Act of the administration.
Council President.
It is the
I'm
administration's...
sorry, Councilman Mendez, 1 second.
It is within the administration's purview regarding salaries and things of that nature. And so when you selectively cut certain departments and salaries, you have now transgressed from your purview into that of the administration. And that, again, is found in the Faulkner Act as well as our local code. And lastly, I will say this, Councilman Jackson, unilaterally cutting certain salaries, and I don't think your intention is to do this, but certainly your stated objective has this effect, will not only affect the mayor, but obviously the secretaries and other staff that
Chief of
work
staff.
within that office. Withholding pay to those people would implicate constitutional due process issues whereby people who have performed work for our city have not had an opportunity to be heard and are having their compensation withheld.
I'm sorry,
So
Councilman, one
based
moment.
on those bases and some of the other things that you and I have discussed previously, your stated goal and method of achieving it is not lawful.
So, Corporation Counsel, once again, you failed to produce the statute, the statute number. Please state it. I need it by statute number. I mean, you're just arbitrarily giving an opinion that's deriving from what law? That's the first thing. Secondly, can you please explain to me the differences between withholding 30 employees and withholding 1,500 employees?
Councilman.
By us withholding,
Councilman.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Council
You
President,
only
I
have
have the floor.
you only have three legal ways to spend money in New Jersey, right? Dedication by rider, which is the money in your trust account. Bond ordinances, which is the money that we borrow to fix the roads, right? And your budget. If we don't approve the budget, then the city cannot continue to operate. Now, if people work, by law, they're still gonna get paid. Maybe not tomorrow, but they're obligated to get paid.
Correct.
What we're trying to do here, we didn't come
Council
here to have a,
President.
hold on a minute. Councilman Mendez, you want to withdraw your motion?
Sure, Council President, if
No,
I may.
let it go.
if-
Council President, let it go.
No, if I may, Council President, I got the floor, Councilman. Can you allow me? Okay.
This is
The
what I
the reason why I support and I entertain Councilman Jackson's motion was to, and I definitely after that I was expecting to check the legality of the motion, but the main reason why I support Councilman Jackson's motion was because I understand his level of frustration. The mayor decided to put us in this position because he wants to push for a new position, assistant CFO position, that he have a person already for that position, which we shouldn't be here. But with that being said, I will remove my motion. I hear Corporation Counsel is not legal, the legality is not there, and I'm not gonna put this council on that position.
So on that note, we're gonna end the discussion, Madam
I
Clerk.
second it. Let it go to roll call, Council President.
Roll call
Please,
for
let's do
approve the
roll call.
budget.
If you go to
Please.
roll call, we're gonna have another 2 minutes between votes.
Let it go.
Let's-
And
let's
it's gonna
go
go
roll
to
call.
five.
Residents to see this
Let-
plan. I
Let it go
second
to
it.
roll call, Council President.
Roll call.
All right, let's do a roll call.
For what?
Roll call for
For
the
his
motion.
amendment.
Councilman Abdelaziz just seconded. He removed, Councilman Mendez removed his motion. Councilman Abdelaziz just seconded.
Yes, roll call.
We want to proceed with the roll call.
Okay.
Yes.
Proceed with the roll call to approve
minutes.
this resolution?
Yes,
Okay.
as amended by Councilman Jackson.
As
Well, he
amended,
amended, he amended the budget.
The
Motion to
The
amend the
motion to
budget.
amend and remove the
Motion
office
to
of the mayor,
amend.
office of the BA, and the city council.
Okay, and the total, because if there's amendment, what is the total?
Javier, how
and
much is the
what
amount?
would be the final amount that would be in the resolution?
Mayor, City Council, and BA, right?
Everything, other expenses and everything.
So we're making an amendment on the amount, but I need to have the total, because there's a different total here. What would the final amount be?
124,100.
Huh?
124,100.
Okay, so that would be the amount deducted from the total that we have on here. That would be the amount taken from this.
What is the question, Madam Clerk?
She want to put the right amount on the motion.
No, the total amount to be removed from this resolution is $124,100. That's the amount that's going to be amended. So I'm asking the question, so we're going to subtract $124,100 from the, is that from the $162,716,775.92?
From the 21,236,664. So the new total would be 21,106,564.
Okay. All right, so legal, okay. So we had a motion by Councilman, and a second on the amendment.
Correct.
Okay, roll call on the amendment to remove, legal would make the necessary corrections and issue, Councilman Abdelaziz on the amendment?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I want to use my 2 minutes to state how outrageous, illegal idea that Councilman Jackson put on the floor. We want to remove items, it sounds great, and that's why I want to use this thing. Oh yeah, let's not pay the mayor, let's not pay the council members. Budgetary 101, salaries and wages of $60,000. That means secretaries are not getting paid. Secretaries in the BA's office are not getting paid. This isn't the elected officials. It's to my union presidents. How would you feel in the police division if patrol gets paid, but someone else doesn't get paid? Come on. That's why we're in this in the first place. We're here to try to come together, pass a resolution, get people paid, but we play these political games on the floor. It's outrageous. And I get frustrated because I'm sitting here thinking that elected officials know what they're doing. We got the Corporation Council telling us it's illegal. They say these comments. They say that we expended 70% of the budget, which is false. You can have your own opinions, but you can't have your own facts. I came here today because I'm hoping that we come to a compromise and agree so the residents benefit because there was a compromise on one end and the employees get paid. I've only been on this council for 3 years, but I see the dysfunction that comes because the last 10 years, temporary budgets have been shot down 12 times. Ask yourselves, I hear it now because I see it sitting at the seat of what's happening. Ask yourselves what's happening and watch the votes. We're talking about, oh, let's not pay the office of city council. That's a $60,000 line item. We don't get paid $60,000 if you include all hours in a budgetary item. In the BA's office, you don't want to pay the BA, but she has secretaries, Patersonians that work there. You're going to split the unions. This divides the city more than anything. Imagine you're getting paid, but the lady across the hall from you is not getting paid. Come on. And my blood pressure's up, and I'm frustrated because we're here now trying to come to a compromise, but we're trying to score political points because it sounds good. It doesn't sound good. This is outrageous. My vote is no. Let's get this done. Let's get out of here. Thank you.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just need to say that I voted for the budget emergency appropriation twice already. I know that we can't not pay our secretaries, you know, maybe council people, and I'm not a lawyer, and I know legally the labor board would just take us and just slap us all over the court for not paying. Like, what is wrong with you guys? And I don't need to be a lawyer to understand that. So we need to make sure, and we, like I said, we can disagree. And like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. I've been here with 5 mayors. I disagree with some of the things they did, but I wouldn't hold you people hostage out there because of something that I didn't agree with. And I did my best to try to work with them, you know. And I didn't get no phone calls. I got a phone call to try to do a special meeting, and it failed on Friday. I'm not really sure, but I never got a phone call for doing a meeting on yesterday. I never got a phone call, or Friday. I got one call, and they couldn't get enough council members to come to a meeting. They would look at us, the courts, I'm telling you, that court, I was here when The union took the city to court and was awarded that $1.9 million. You want to put us in that back situation again? I don't think we want to get back in that again. So with that being said, we cannot pay our secretaries and the people in different departments. We pick and choose. We can't pick and choose who we pay. We have to pay everyone. With that being said, my vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Pass, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I'll be brief for my 2 minutes. As I mentioned before, I second the motion to entertain Councilman Jackson's comment and to give him the opportunity in the floor to express, his position. And I don't blame Councilman Jackson for feeling that level of frustration, because as I mentioned before, I will pray that our relationship with this administration change. I was expecting to see the mayor in that seat having a conversation with us one-on-one. How can we fix this? How can we meet halfway? That's what a mayor, that's what a leader will do. Sit down with us and have a conversation with us. But that's not happening, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I just definitely don't think, but I will continue praying. This situation, pushing this governing body for a position, because it definitely will include that $120,000 position, a new position that is being created. It's something unfair, and I don't think that I will not blame this governing body. And the reason why I'm here, I left my private business to be here, is because I want to make sure that all our employees get their paycheck when they need to receive their paycheck. That's the reason why I'm here, and I'm looking forward to make sure that that vote will be positive on that direction, to make sure that every employee of the city get paid. But this conversation needs to happen, because if you look at all the new positions that this administration has been opening and putting over $100,000, $80,000, $90,000 in those positions, and not even taking care of the employees that we have in this city that has been here for 15, 20, 25 years, and they're now making more than $30,000. And they are the ones day by day in our street, in our community, doing the work and not being appreciated. That conversation definitely need to happen over here. But I asked the opinion to the Corporation Council. He was very specific. It's something that doesn't apply. My vote is no.
Councilman Mims?
You know what's sad? We are here tonight to make sure employees get paid. That is the purpose of coming tonight. Now we have a motion on the floor to cut pay from the employees that we came to pay. That is idiotic. It does not make, it is the most idiotic, craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. When we have secretaries, we have people that have been in the city working before we became council members. They were here before we came, and they're gonna be here after we leave these seats. And guess what? Some of them are gonna probably vote you out after this. But they were here before and after. We have our first female chief of staff who is here. She's a Paterson, and we fight for Patersonians to get the positions in the administration's office. And we have one sitting right here, Chief of Staff Della Fisher. I'm a 4th Wardian, born and raised, she's 4th Ward. And you mean to tell me that we're okay with putting a motion out to cut away from what I've heard the council colleagues say? We need to fight for people that live in Paterson. She's from Paterson. So this is to cut from somebody that you've been fighting for, and she's one of them. And I'm not sure the residency of the secretary. They may be Paterson too, but we cannot be hypocritical in our movements. It's not even political, it's hypocritical. And it is so crazy. We are here, the meeting on Friday, I thank Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk made a roll call, and 4 council members agreed to come to the meeting. 5 did not agree to it, so that we could meet to have an emergency meeting. And then here we are today. We are here now for an emergency meeting to ensure that all of our employees are getting paid. And now we have to suffer through, cut this part out, cut that part out, something we can't even do. It's not even our job. It's not our purview to do it. For me, it's not about a salary. It's not about a salary. As a matter of fact, I'm putting it on the floor. I would like, on the record, half of my city council salary to go back into the budget. You're hearing it here for the first time. I want half of my salary to go back to the employees, Madam BA. Make sure when we configure it, half of my salary goes back to the city. It's not political. I'm not here for a salary. I'm not here for a paycheck. I am here because I'm born and raised in the city of Paterson. I love this city, and our employees deserve to get paid. This is asinine, it is idiotic, and it is just, it's absurd. My vote is absolutely no.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Great performance.
Listen, trying to stay calm, positive, and happy. Once again, my colleague at the end, Councilman Abdulaziz from the great ward of the 6th, stated before, it sounds good, but not everything that you say is reality. Something that Councilwoman Mims just stated, that she wants her half salary go back to the OSA, is not ever going to be a reality. The law will not allow it. So, it sounds good. The law won't allow it. You could take a check and give it to the people, but it's not allowed to take it out of your wages. It's a set rules on that. It's a set rules on that. But you could do whatever you want with your check, but it sounds good. Councilman Mendez stated that he understands the frustration from our colleagues. Let me tell you something. I don't think we have frustration. In my case, I don't feel frustrated. We have situations that lead us to make decisions on behalf of the taxpayers and the city employees. Never have been a question about paying the salary to the employees. If you go back to May 25th, I stated from this chambers, from this seat, please, let's take the salary and wages presented to us and we will vote on it. He could come back late on down in the day or whatever and ask for money for other expenses. He could do that, but he had to come to the council and request it. But since the beginning, we've been telling them to do the salary, because at least we're moving the city forward. We're doing what we have to do. I'm going to say this. Frustration take us to be a toxic legislator. So simple. If you get frustrated, you're going to be a toxic can you say that word for me, Madam?
Legislator, my brother.
Correct. So, just in case, the only thing is I think in Spanish, I want to say it in English, right? But don't be toxic. Listen, we need to move the city forward, and I believe that, and last but not least, to correct Madam Cotton over there, my 4th Ward Councilwoman, yes, I could say proud and clear that I have a full-time council job, and I live paycheck by paycheck. And I don't ask for favors. So my vote is no at this.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I must give a great round of applause for all the great performances that we've seen this evening. But the reality is, we're here right now because 1,500 employees was concerned about not getting paid. If we felt that way before, then why are we even here? Why are we having that discussion? It's amazing how some people aren't political, but yet you can go down the line and they have at least half a dozen family members that have county jobs and jobs affiliated or associated with some type of political affiliation. It's amazing how some people could get pay increases and get new jobs and things of that nature because they've done certain things, but yet we're talking about being non-political. What it is this is very clear, very simple. First of all, please make a point of reference that Corporation Council still has yet to state the statute. Don't tell me the law. See, I'm a show me person. Show me. I want to read it for myself. Don't give me an interpretation, because it is within the council's purview to go line by line within the budget. I didn't say, well, I'm going to cut the mayor's salary. No, I said the line number that includes his office, line number being 10-10, office of the mayor. Yes, there will be some casualties, some secretaries in that department that may not get paid. But guess what? If the administration And if the council want to play this game and posturing with each other, why make the entire employee base go through that without the council wearing that grunt? If you want to sit here and dispute back and forth over one position, so to speak, then you look your secretary in the eye and let her ask you why she didn't get paid. But why make the entire employee base go through this? Secondly, it's simply amazing how, yeah, a few people went over. You already.
Yeah, a few minutes,
you
wrap it
nervous?
up, a few seconds. No, wrap it up, and you're gonna get to speak again. We're gonna vote on the budget, so you're gonna have more time for discussion. You could just say whatever narrative you could say later. Let's just try to wrap it up. That way we can move into the, regular item, if you don't mind.
I'll say this. All of a sudden, this council wants to be responsible over one position for $120,000. The very first hire the mayor made was a non-resident that was paid double of a city employee who was a city resident for 25, and an employee for 25 years, who had a college degree in architectural design, engineering, zoning officer, certified, many different certifications for a non-certified position. Not one council member but me, Councilman Jackson. I was the only one to raise issue with that. Not one. There's many other positions. Lastly, I said it's clear. If the council has an issue, then let's bring about a vote of no confidence on the mayor and on the BA. Phone calls got made, and that measure was removed. So, it's not surprising. I expect it. You got an automatic yes vote for the mayor at the end. So whatever the mayor brings forward, he has continuously supported it.
Councilman, can you wrap it up, please? You're gonna get to speak again, please.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Of course, I have no issue with being the only vote. It's been consistent since I've been here.
Mr. President?
We cannot be narrow-minded. I'm proud to serve with some of my colleagues up here, but we have a tendency, some council members, I was gonna say some of us, but I'd rather somebody say that about me and not say it myself. But I gotta say, some members of this council are being narrow-minded. It wasn't just about the one position. It was about accountability, right? Accountability. It was about governing together. It wasn't about just the one position. Yes, it will send the wrong message publicly, that position, when you look at all the factors. But it was about governing together. I had a conversation with the administration, and we made that commitment for the best interests of the city to sit down and talk about, how we're gonna do things a little different. Because every year we budget, once again, council members, we're legislators, but we have most of the laws in the books already. And also our responsibility is to approve a budget which represents the plan of service that your constituents are gonna serve. I just hope that some council members take more interest in learning what they're voting on. And I'm sorry to take this route, but as a professional, a lot of times it's embarrassing to be part of a board that oftentimes we come with an objective and we go the other way just because it sounds great for some people or it will make great headlines. If you notice, my 3 years here, vote, it might be a vote that you don't like or dislike, but everything I do, I give a justification for my vote. It's not just based, I feel this way. Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
my vote is no.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 6 against, 1 in favor, 2 absent. Amendment failed for item number 1.
Roll call on the budget, on the appropriation.
Do we have? I believe we need
We
a
already
motion.
have a motion.
Yeah,
We
we have
already had
a
a
motion.
motion. Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk, on
Yes.
approving this temporary budget as
Right.
presented.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to approve item number 1, and this resolution requires 6 affirmative votes. Councilman Abdelaziz.
So after we always get sidetracked by the show that we get from our first ward councilman, to the city employees, I'm sorry that you gotta live like this going day to day. You're absolutely right. I can't imagine at my job knowing if I did the work that I did and not get paid, right? This is something where the city council and the mayor, I voted yes, but you know what? I could play my part to try to bridge the gap and make sure we work together. This could have all been handled within ourselves. And to the administration, you have to hear some of your council members. They've been for 2 months saying things. We always push the envelope to the edge, but guess who are the victims? Not us, not the administration, the employees. The damage has been done. You want to talk about morale? I will never want to be able to go to work and say, I'm going to do a great job today, but I'm not getting paid on Friday. How do we expect our employees to do a great job and we hold them accountable, but they don't know if they're going to get paid on a certain day? We're the grown-ups. Leadership starts at the top. We have to come together. When I go to my department, at my full-time job, it starts with me. I want to commend the council president. I apologize to you and your wife for waking you up at 10:45 at night. I knocked on his door, woke him up. His wife, I'm surprised she didn't call the cops. But I said, how do we mediate this? How do we figure this out? The employees deserve to get paid. You know what? He didn't shut the door on me. He does live in my ward also, so it was close by. We started getting discussions going on. And I said, sleep on it. This could get solved without hurting our employees. But this should have been done weeks ago.
Yeah.
So to our city employees, hold your heads up high. I've been on this council for 3 years. I'm going to try to never get through this or try to cross this road again. Dysfunction is not good for an organization. And I'm a sports guy. A dysfunctional team loses. So I'm happy we're here today. I urge my colleagues, because there's going to be more battles down the road. At the end, let's keep the scars amongst us and not them. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Khan?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think I done said as much as I can possibly say about city employees. You know, I feel the pain. I feel, you had some people with COVID, with the pandemic that we're in, and some people don't think that we suffered. No, we suffer, and we still suffering. To make employees worry about different things when you're already full of stuff that's happening, even in the city around you. And I can say that the court system dragged 4 of us down to Newark. I believe we were in Newark. When I say dragged us, and say, you better decide what you got to do for certain things that were happening in the city. And we can disagree, but you have to do what you think is best for the city. You may not like Joe Blow or Sue Ann or whoever, but we still have to do what's best for the city. And we can't hold people hostages because it's something that we don't like to do or someone that we may not like. I think about people all the time in general, and I say sometimes the other side of me comes out, meaning the community side with I've been a community person such a long time, and I feel for the community because I get the phone calls, I hear the cries, and I cry with them sometimes because I got to figure out what I can do and how I can help and who I can see. And I always say, you better make friends because friends didn't help your constituents. I can send you to someone that I think that can help you. You need to make friends. You need to have connection. You need to have organizations that that can do things for you. It's about making friends. It's about when you make friends, you helping your constituent, you helping your residents, you helping the city of Paterson. You just can't stay here. You got to go beyond. You got to go beyond. And so I want to say that it was just unfair. I remember working on the job one time, and the man was always broke, and it was payroll time. If you didn't get to the bank first, your check bounced. That's a bad feeling. It really is a bad feeling, not to get no money. So I can't do that. I voted yes every time. I understand. I'm not a lawyer, but I can understand. I done seen how so many cases that we have had that we did not make it. They voted against the city. I'm not going to be the one that's going to put the city in jeopardy of losing a court battle because I already knew that we was going to lose. And they'll look at me and say, how you vote for this? And you already knew we were going to lose.
Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk,
Yes,
my
ma'am.
vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson? Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let me just start saying that let me go into the budget, we reduced 3 different departments. We reduced the budget on 3 different departments: Office of the Director, the Division of Treasurer, and the Division of Accounting and Control. There was a reduction on those 3 departments. With this, at this time, the mayor is not gonna be able to hire that position, that assistant CFO position, for $120,000. At this time, he's not gonna be able to do it. I'm hoping that we could continue the conversation with the administration, and I hope to see the mayor sitting there, having this conversation with us. I left my private business to be here because I care about my community, and I don't wanna apologize. I love this city, I respect every employee, and I just want to serve to this community. I'm not holding any county or city position. I'm not an employee, none of my family. I'm in the private sector, and all I want to do is to serve my community. And the reason why I'm saying that I'm not going to apologize is because by me coming here and say yes, yes, yes to everything, to all those new positions, those dollars, they're coming from our homeowners that are already paying a high taxes. Let's not talk about the sewer that they've been going through for the past 3 years. This is the reason why I'm here, to fight for our taxpayer, to make sure that they receive the services that they've been paying for. And I know a lot of my taxpayers, they agree with me. I mean, what do we see in the city? The services that we're getting, what are we getting in terms of services? We're getting more people in our payroll and less services in our community. There's a real problem in this city. And I hear those concerns, and this is the reason why I'm here. I never vote in line of any political feeling. I vote in what is good for the city, what is good for Paterson. And I'm satisfied that by voting yes on this and reducing those 3 line items, the administration, they're not gonna say yes to this position where they already have a person to this position. I don't see that as a fair. And my recommendation to the administration is to start looking into the employees that we already have in the book. People that have been here for 25, 30 years, and they're not making more than $30,000. And if you go out of town to any municipality, just check how much money they're making on the same position. That's my point. When you say that you want to open a new position, that's more money to the budget.
Councilor.
Positions that are not created, I'm wrapping up, Council President. Positions that are never been created. So I don't think that's good government. I'm very concerned with the leadership of the mayor, and I'm looking forward to see him sitting there because we're going to continue the conversation. This is an emergency appropriation, and I'm expecting to vote on a budget very soon and not wait until the last inning of the game when there can be no change. So with that being said, in support of our city employees, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
I said it all tonight. On the 27th, there were some concerns, and initially I voted no. But then I thought about the employees, and before the vote was confirmed, I changed it and voted yes, because I knew the importance of getting our employees paid. I came back on the 1st, I voted yes again. When Madam Clerk called Friday and asked who can be available, because this is very important that the employees get paid, I was in the office, and I said to her, I am available. 4 of us did. And when today the call was made to come, I was all the way down in South Jersey, and I initially asked, can it be virtual? And because most wanted to be in person, I came back up the highway because I knew it was important to make sure our employees get paid. You work really hard every day. We criticize, we yell, and I probably call, probably not more than Councilman Velez, but I call a lot. And I would never want to have to make the phone calls and someone is posting or requesting something to be done and they're not available. So I thought about all of that, or an ambulance not being able to pick up someone that's sick, or the police not being able to show up, and different things not being able to be rendered. And I thought about all of that way back on May 27th. So it's not me thinking about something new tonight. I've been consistent as it relates to voting for this. My vote is, are there some concerns with the mayor and the relationship? Absolutely. But I'm not voting for the mayor. When I'm voting, it's for the people, the city, and definitely for the workers that do a great job every single day. It would be hypocritical for me to introduce an ordinance to recognize employees once a month and then to vote no, not to pay you. So I'm not going to do that. My word is my bond. My vote is always for the city and always for the residents and for the great employees, the 1,440 employees that do, I have 2 minutes. 1,440 employees that do a great job. My vote is YES, yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Well, the important thing here that she says she's not going to vote for the mayor. So in 2022, I don't know what she's going to vote for.
But as you're running, I'm voting for you.
Well, let me say something from the beginning, and this is my first time I voted no in the appropriation. In the past, I always voted yes, but people are getting confused in the situation between service and our responsibility. In the beginning, while we was telling the mayor and the administration what the taxpayers are receiving back. First of all, we was listening to the concern of the constituents out there, the debris, the garbage, potholes, recycling. All those situations was taking us to a frustration of what we doing as legislator. We approving budget, appropriation, and the taxpayers are not receiving the fair share of that money that we approve, okay? On service. We never had an issue, please take out of that of your mind, never had an issue about salary and wages. If you could look at the back of the tape, we always agree on salary and wages, right, Councilwoman Mims? We always agree on that. Matter of fact, in the past meeting that we had, we recommended the mayor to present us a monthly appropriation. Councilman President recommended. What he did, he brought back the same 2 months. So there was no conversation on the situation, okay? Now, he followed the lead a little bit, the way it's supposed to be from the beginning, and he presented us a month appropriation. I think it's fair. I spoke to the mayor myself. Mayor, present please the salary and wages. You could come back to the council if there's something, you could come back and ask us. But please come with the proper attitude, the proper way. It was a shame the last meeting, last meeting was like a resident says, it was a toxic relation that we have here. But we have service to render, we got responsibility to do. And if you look at this appropriation, it's not just salary, you have health insurance payout, you have payment that you had to send to our retirees that have give their life in our city working, you know, and having constituent calling me, I had to explain them all the situation going on. Last but not least, Mayor, you got the chance to create a relation with us from this point on. I know that you're going to do that, and Madam BA, please, we are call away, but let's do it collaborative with all the council.
Your vote, Councilman?
She said we better together.
Councilman, your
Hold
vote.
on, yes.
Please.
Don't worry, we need one vote from Councilman Jackson. It's going to take the time anyway. My vote is yes. Employees, you know, we here for you, but the administration had to understand that he had to work with us. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. For those that I spoke to a few days ago, did I not tell you this is where we will be? Did I not tell you, rest assured, not to worry, because it's just a political game, political ploy. This is how things roll out. Well, it's amazing that everybody's so concerned about the employees today, right? But when it comes to all the critical decisions that were made throughout the year, the $160 million in tax credits that apparently somehow council members believe the council has no decision-making process in that spending. The hospital who owed over $7 million, but yet there was a negotiation and approved by this council, which I again voted against, from $7 million down to $700,000. These type of critical decisions that's impacting the city. Now, I want to ask all of you at home, how many of you are satisfied with the services or with the performance of the administration and the council up until this point? Everything that you're witnessing tonight, you witnessed unfold this entire 3 years. And nobody has been in more support of the employee base than I have. Exactly, when those specific employees are outlined. But so now, tonight, we've outlined that a matter of 3 different positions, with the matter of $120,000 position, that was the issue. That's what held up this vote that possibly was going to render the employees not to be paid. But yet, we will allow negotiations to go forward where we will lose out from $7 million from taxes from the hospital down to $700,000 because some council members are automatic votes for the mayor. So I'm not going to labor this any longer. I'm happy that this has finally come to an end, and it's watching this thing unfold. It's been comical, to say the least. Comical. While other measures that's being brought forward, I'm arrested there because I'm not going to utilize this yet. I'll make sure we bring it forward in the future. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
So residents at home, I don't like to disrespect my colleagues, but I did use a word today that some council members are narrow-minded. I brought up the $120,000 position, and people just grabbed it and just talked about it like it was just that. Right? Like it was just that. We're talking about, we were elected to govern together. Councilwoman Cotton, do you want to have the floor when I'm voting? I'm speaking, and I'm sorry. Okay, so it's okay. So we were elected to govern together. This action that we took was about accountability. We're hearing everything that goes on from the people. It's about the services that are not being provided. Now, we're voting here tonight, and some council members think it's the end of the world if we approve this temporary budget, right? We have to set the stage, though. We soon have to discuss an introduced budget that was presented to us, and then you wonder why some wards don't get the services that they need to get, right? You're a councilman. You should be in the best interest to learn how the budget works, how your capital works. You know what's strange? I haven't seen council members. They know the streets are messed up, and some council members haven't said, oh, how come we don't have a road improvement programs in our capital plan? So I'm saying this because you have council members that like to talk about the council body as a whole. Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror. Sometimes the words that are being said by some of my colleagues is what is making the council look bad, not the action. It's the words, the things that go on here. They cannot maintain quorum when they're legislators, but they cannot even follow their own laws, their own rules. And we're legislators. We have all the laws in the books that you can imagine. They're not being enforced. Instead of concentrating to have a discussion with the administration on the budget and how is it going to address and improve and address all the ordinances that are not being enforced, but that never happens. It gets turned into a political thing. So look, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm never going to tell the residents how to vote, but just because you see somebody fighting doesn't mean that person is effective. You got to know how to fight. The reason we're here tonight, since we couldn't agree on something, you know what? We're going to continue the conversation. Let's make some changes to this budget, a responsible change, and we're here tonight. And thank you, Councilman Abdelaziz, for your interest. We did have a lengthy discussion. And to the workers, listen, this whole week I've been thinking of ways so we could meet in the middle, the administration and the council. But some other things get in the way. And I'm not going to go into details. The most important thing is that we're here tonight. To the residents at home, we're going to work with the administration. We had this conversation today. And we're going to try to improve on some of the things that need to be improved in the city. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 1 is hereby adopted.
Motion to close?
Second, discussion. Just kidding.
Motion to close.
Motion by Councilman Mendez.
Velez.
Councilman Velez. Roll call to close.
Do we have a motion to close?
Yes.
Yes, second.
So Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the emergency meeting of June 8, 2021. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to say that, being a council person, you must learn to work with everyone. If we're gonna move the city forward, and we may not vote the same sometimes, but I find that sometimes some people wanna hold grudges and be mean, and to me, that's not necessary. You know, we're all here together, we're all here fighting for the constituents, we're all here fighting for the city, and that's what we're supposed to do. So, you know, we may not agree, but you don't hold grudges and, you know, do things that's not right, especially to other council members, because you never know. We all here for a purpose. We all do good things in everything that we do. So, to you out there, audience, have a great night. God bless you all. Please, you still got an hour, 30 minutes to vote. Please go out and vote in the primaries. Thank you. Madam Clerk, thank you so much. I appreciate your office. Thank you, Madam Clerk. With that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson? Councilman Jackson, we're closing the meeting. Yes? Pass? Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I definitely believe that we accomplished what we were expecting tonight. We approved a temporary appropriation, and I'm satisfied because, personally, in my case, my concern, or one of my biggest concerns that I have, is that the position of the administration, by continue opening new position, and by reducing the line item on the office of the director, office of the treasurer, and the division of the accounting control, the administration, they're not going to be able to open this assistant CFO position. I'm looking forward to continue the conversation. This is only the beginning. We got to make sure that we receive that budget to be able to have the discussion and adapt it. But I hope and I will pray that we could see the mayor on our next discussion budget. This is our responsibility. And the budget reflects the quality of service that our community is receiving. And all I think about is the amount of phone calls that I've received from my constituent about the lack of the recycling collection, the condition of a road, debris in our community, call for service, quality of life. So issues, those are the concerns that I have. Our taxpayer, they're paying the taxes, they're doing their part. It's our responsibility to do our part and hold the administration accountable to make sure that they provide those services that our taxpayer deserve. That's my reason why of being here, and I will continue advocating for taxpayer. To the employees, you definitely, I hope that we cannot see ourselves in this position moving forward, because there was no need. There was only one position, and there was some concern that we should address before this time, but nevertheless, the temporary appropriation is approved. That position is not going to be filled, and we'll continue the conversation. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes. Good night, Paterson.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
Councilman Velez.
Oh, Councilman Velez?
I will pass.
He's
passing.
He's
I'm passing.
passing?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Council President will step away. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Oh, you're present? Oh, I'm sorry.
He's the president.
I didn't notice that he left. I don't even notice that Councilman President left.
I just love you.
Listen, I've been here, as Councilwoman Cotton said, that she be here for 5 mayors, I believe it is, and I'm being here with 4 mayors, counting with you, as 1 month you was mayor. So, Joy Torres, Madam Cotton, and James Warren, and now this mayor. Of course, sometimes you had to side with the mayor, because if it's the community interests, we need to make sure that we legislate in behalf of the community. So voting for items that the mayor has on place for benefit of the community, you cannot judge us on that.
Yes.
Because that we here for it. Let me tell you something, and everybody gonna be surprised. You tune into Passaic municipal government, you don't see the jokes there. You tune into Clifton municipal government, you don't see the jokes there. You go to Helden, and you don't see the jokes there. You go to other municipalities that I Google sometimes their meetings to watch how they conduct themselves between the legislative body and the administration, and you don't see those jokes there. Why we cannot work together to make sure our city move forward? It starts from communication. It starts to having a relation. If I don't like something, let's talk about it. If I like it, let's praise it. But let's try to work together. Of course, we're not going to agree and everything, of course. But one thing I said is I side with a lot of mayors way before being a council because I look for the interest and benefit of those individuals out there called taxpayers and community. And if the agenda is including the community and is including those that are in needs and those that have sacrificed their time to be here in our city, of course I'm going to be in favor of that. That sometimes they take me for granted? Yes, they do. But I have to remember that whoever voted for me to be here, that's who I work for. And soon, I'm here for that, and I'm going to still do that for the people of Paterson. Thanks God, they saved my salary paycheck this week because my credit card and my debit card was so low, and then I cannot put my gas in my car. Then you're going to see me riding my bike around, and everybody's going to say, why? Because I didn't got paid.
I'll give you a ride.
You get a car, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, the salary have never been an issue. And once again, I know that we still have to have the conversation, Madam BA, things that have to be adjusted here, over there, making sure that we don't put burden on our taxpayers, making sure that the people of Paterson receive their service as it is. And everybody want to see a road paved, but nobody knows that the PCNG is doing the mess. Everybody want to see things going on in our parks. We all want things to be happening in the city of Paterson. So this is time to catch up, and this is broken, right?
Yeah, 2 minutes over.
Oh, it rings?
Yeah.
No, it rings.
I didn't time you.
Oh, so put it again.
Because we're closing.
Just kidding.
Councilman.
So,
There's an election going on, Councilman.
I know
Let's
there's
wrap
an
it up.
election. That's a slave win, and the Democratic Party don't have no challenge in there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. God bless you. Going back to my routine in the Fifth Ward, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President, I'm sorry. Councilman Mims?
So, to our community at large, today is Election Day. If you have not voted, you have about 40 minutes left. Please go out and vote. Governor Phil Murphy's on the ballot. Senator Nellie Poe is on the ballot. Our Assembly woman Shavonda Sumter, Assemblyman Benji Wimberly is on the ballot, and then there's state committee persons across the line. Please go out, vote for these people that fight to ensure that money comes through our amazing city to keep the job going. I'm not a drinker, but I do like water, so I want to say cheers to our employees, that you'll be able to have your paychecks and your livelihood will not change. This drink is for you. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Just want to say thank you to my colleagues, the one that took the time to listen. Thank you. Thank you, administration. We had a good conversation today, and the conversation was geared to keeping the lines of communication open to make sure that the decisions that are made on these chambers is with the best interests of the community in mind. From both ends, we're going to try to govern together to an extent. That being said, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, Mr. President.
My vote is yes, Madam.
Thank you. The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. The special meeting, emergency meeting is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you.